Hi. Uh, Back in 2022, uh, I remember I went on top of my building. There's a terrace with a nice view, so I used to go there sometimes. And one day, I felt really dizzy. I could barely walk, and it was very sudden. And so I had to go back to my flat, and I have to lay down for 2 hours before I could get up. So, in the next day, I tried to go up there again in the morning, and I felt dizzy again. So I tried to think what could it be, and on top of the buildings, there's EMF antennas from local networks. Uh, so I had this suspicious that it could be it. So I decided to go to another location where there's also a big antenna, and when I walked close to it, I started feeling really dizzy again, and I had to sit down actually for a few minutes before I could walk again. Um, so I start like investigating, researching, and it's complicated to solve because apparently there's no solution. No one knows why it happens. So I've I've contacted like this Portuguese institution that they do the measurements. So they come to my building. They took readings inside my house, upstairs, on the street, and they told me that the readings are according to the European Union norms. So I was reading about it, and apparently these regulations that they were done like 20 years ago, and 20 years ago there was no 5G or 4G, right? Uh, so these radiations, it keeps becoming more powerful, apparently to provide us a better internet service. But uh, I do think there's some consequences, and I do feel them. I really struggle. Uh, so my symptoms are, I I struggle to sleep at night because I just feel that my body is in constant stress and I cannot switch off. I have irregular heartbeat. I have shortness of breath. Um, my thyroid here, I feel pain on both sides. Uh, my ears also, I feel like these clicks and this tiny pain uh, when the radiation it's above 1,000 microvolts. I know because I have a device, and so I carry this with me, and I kind of monitor the locations that I feel more relaxed and calm, and the ones that I don't. And actually, when I'm close to an antenna, I can feel it straight away, and so I use this device to measure, and I've checked it many times, and it's correct. So I also feel like this sensation of sunburn. Imagine if you're outside in the sun, and you can feel the sun in your face and in your head. That's what I feel while I'm at home. I think that's the radiation sign as well. I have a lot of like digestive problems uh, and other metabolic problems. Like basically, this affects me a lot of ways, physically and mentally as well. Like even today, before I left home, I was trying to like put a few things in my bag, and I just couldn't do it. I was just like walking around, and I'm like, okay, what I was doing again, and everything takes really a long time. I cannot focus. I'm really lightheaded, and I have like this. They call it leaky gut symptoms. Yeah, I have that. And it's just impossible to live like this. Like and it started in 2022, like I told you, and after that, I just I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I found this material, which they call it a Faraday mesh. It kind of filters the radiations, and I bought one. It costs more than €1,000, and so I put it on top of my bed, and it covers me. I had to put some aluminum foil as well underneath the mattress because the radiations also were coming in underneath. And uh, currently I'm not sleeping very well. Back then in 2022, I managed to improve my sleep, uh, but now since then they made great improvements uh, on the antennas on top of my building. Maybe it was because of 5G, I don't know, but there was only one antenna, now there's two, and they kind of like upgraded the whole gear that they have up there, and now it's way more powerful. So in 2023, I decided to go to London, and I stayed there almost 2 years. And in London, UK, uh, I actually forgot about this problem because I think there, the, 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 the frequency of the strength of the antennas there's not as strong here. Uh, in my city here in Portugal, my city is called Figueira da Foz. It's in the center on the coast, and we have 60,000 people living here, and we have a ton of antennas. We have like I don't know, like 20. Uh, so I don't know what's the logic of having so many antennas and so powerful. So now with these new 5G antennas, I'm really struggling, even with my Faraday mesh that I told you, because I kind of feel that there's some palpitation of some radiations that this device cannot detect, because when I'm in my bed I get a zero reading, but I can feel that something is still bothering me. Um, I assume it's just because 5G is so powerful. It's difficult for anything to stop it, I guess. Um, and so, yeah, it's been a struggle, and I just don't know what to do. I can't do anything because I cannot stay in my bed protected by that mesh all the time. You know, I need to go to like the kitchen, the living room. I would like to get a job or something like that, go out with friends, but I can't do it because as soon as I get out, I have all this radiation, and it's not only around my building; it's everywhere. Um, so it's really complicated, uh, and obviously I'm not the only one to have this problem. I'm sure there's loads of more people having this problem. I just have, because I have the antennas on top of my building, it's easy for me to go there and I feel a huge effect on my body. And if I go somewhere in the forest where I'm surrounded by trees and my readings are pretty close to zero, I immediately feel really relaxed. I feel like I want to have a nap because I'm like my body starts shutting down immediately. Uh, and when I start approaching my house again, as soon as I go around the corner and I see the antennas on top, I feel it straight away in my head. There's this little click in my ears, uh, and so I'm sure there's other people in the world with a problem like mine. Maybe maybe some of them they're not as serious as mine. Other ones maybe they're even more serious. Like when I asked the that that people to come to my building to check the levels, that's what they do. I told them my symptoms, and they were kind of denying it. They were kind of saying, "Oh, everything is okay. There's no problem." But when they were leaving in the very last minute, outside my door, they told me, listen, we do this every day. There's people that complain just like you, and there's people with health problems way serious than you, and they complain exactly the same thing as you. Okay, so they know that these companies, they know what they're doing. People complaining, but they're just not doing anything about it. You see, this technology, this radiation technology was initially created by Russians as a weapon to harm people, but now they're using it for internet, which is great. Uh, but I don't think that uh, we need to have such high levels of radiation and and have a good service. Like I remember when I first got my iPhone 4S in 2012. Uh, it was 3G back then, and it worked fine. It was really quick, really quick. I could watch everything really quick. And so now we have 5G. Maybe in a couple of years they're gonna announce 6G, and I think it's a big problem because if you think of like babies that are in the mom's womb and they are developing, if they're being affected by these radiations, how can you tell and how can you protect them? Same thing in elderly people. Elderly people, they need to have uh, a very careful lifestyle, right? They have to eat well, rest, sleep well, and a lot of times their body, their metabolism, this stops working as it should, uh, and they become more vulnerable to everything, including these radiations. Uh, we all see what happened in COVID. Uh, well, that there was a lot of confusion, that there was a lot of misinformation about everything, and it seems that the more I learned about the world, the less things I should trust, and I should question everything. Uh, and that is my advice to everyone. Uh, now I'm recording this video to share my story and my concern. Look, I'm not saying that we should end all these antennas, but I'm saying we should start talking about, and we cannot ignore it, because if I was born here in this city, and now I'm thinking about getting out of here because I cannot stay here, and I would like to stay here, and I would like to die here, but I feel that I'm dying really fast because of radiations, but I don't think I can stay here because it's too much. I have to maybe buy a piece of land far away from here and just stay there, away from the antennas. Um, I read the other day a podcast between the JF Kennedy's son and Joe Rogan, and he was talking about these radiations. He was saying there's studies that some people are really affected. You can even get cancer. It just can affect you in many ways. So I think there's already some awareness of this problem, and I hopefully in the future there is going to be uh, more people like me recording videos and talking about it, and at some point our our leaders, the people that govern us, they will have to do something about it, hopefully, because maybe my symptoms are very extreme, but maybe a lot of people, they can have many other symptoms that they are not as severe, but they do affect their quality of life. Um, so uh, this was just something I wanted to share because it's having a huge impact on my life. Um, I just feel that I keep running away, but I would not want to run away. You know, I want to stay here and just have a normal life. Thank you. Uh, Now you're watching the EMF frequency on my room. This is my room. That's where I sleep. Here, the EMF, they're gonna go straight down. And if I close this completely, it's gonna go really, really low. So this is way too much for me. I struggle even in my room. If I'm like just sitting on the computer, it's gonna be a problem. This is my kitchen. 1,000 is really high for me. That's when my ears start like clicking. And here on the living room, it's really, really high. Because of those babies right there. I'm now in the top of my building where the antennas are. That's the reading I get. There's one antenna there. There's another one there. I cannot stay here very long because I feel really sick and it takes me a while. That's like the gear. Previously they had this, the gear was inside this, but when they did the final upgrade to 5G, now it's just here, and I don't think there's nothing inside. And there's also the building next door also have antennas. So it's pretty a terrible place to live if you're sensitive to this. I'm here at a very remote place in my city, and the radiations here are very low. This is really good for me. There's no antennas around here, and actually not any Wi-Fi from the neighbors. So this is a good place for me just to relax and to unwind.